Okay, we're doing a bit more of a different video today. We're going over the top 10 worst promo characters. Now, I'm going to emphasize on what I mean by promo characters. I mean purely in the promo wheel. No stashes or none of that, because in stashes you could get them for free, with a few free pulls here and there. But I'm going purely off the promo wheel. They have to have been in the promo wheel for them to be on this list. And keep in mind, it is my list, and there is a few characters on here that I sort of put on the list just to be on the list, sort of thing. Because it is the hard thing of the top 10 worst characters, worst promo characters in the game, when you're thinking about what stage of the game they were a part of, and were they really viable at the time of their release. So first of all, we're going over is number 10. I would put Tiffany. Now, Tiffany's a bit of an interesting one. Some might say she was alright, some might say she was absolute dog shit, but here's my opinion. So first of all, Tiffany was an S class. Deal 450% damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get taunt for 3 turns. This character gets 30% defense for 3 turns. Now she is 76 AP, and her active skill was up to 2 other teammates get elusive for 2 turns. Up to 3 teammates recover from stun. This is an initial cooldown of 1, and then a cooldown of 3. Now, here's why I thought she was pretty dog shit, and I don't think I knew anyone that actually spent coins on her, and here's why. So, around that time, give or take, we were in the pre-rampage meta. Now, given Tiffany did have an absolute defense gun, what was she used for? Honestly, what could she have done in the Princess Rampage era to make a difference? Answer: nothing. Just nothing. And now I'm fairly sure, if I'm not wrong, Arav was around then, and obviously with Priya, Arav, maybe even Princess around at that time, with turn 1 teams. Yeah, she was doing absolutely nothing to stop that, and I genuinely mean it. She just did nothing. And for defense teams, yeah, she was just still getting blown up just as fast. So she was literally just sitting there on defense. So you're paying to pretty much have a character sit there on defense doing nothing. And for attack, yeah, she just wasn't doing anything on attack. Let's be honest. So number 10. Tiffany, she just really didn't do much. Now for my number 9, bit of a fan favorite here, Eugene, and we're talking about the mythic one. No, sorry, not the mythic one, the S class one. Now he is a green, and he did have a pretty fast rush. It was 58 AP. Deal 400% damage to 1 enemy, up to 5 enemies get impaired for 1 turn. This character gets 75% defense for 3 turns. Now he was an indomitable from memory, and his active skill was all teammates recover from debilitating effects and get elusive for 1 turn. It was an initial cooldown of 3 and then a cooldown of 2. Now what can I say? 400% damage to 1 enemy, that was very low and very mediocre. Up to 5 enemies get impaired for 1 turn. I mean, 1 turn is literally nothing, and this character gets 75% defense. I mean, I'm fairly sure at that point in the game it was pretty much around Princess Rampage as well. I think we were closing in on Jackie, if I'm not mistaken. But let's be honest, that's not holding anyone on defense. Useless, because like I said, Princess, Priya, Arav, they were all still very meta at that point in the game. Nothing was stopping that, and this definitely was not a character you would want to spend on, because 1, his rush sucked, 2, he wasn't good for defense, 3, he wasn't good for attack. So if he's not good on attack or defense, and he can't really bring anything for control or locking down a team, he's pretty shit. So for Tiffany and Eugene, it was just really unfortunate timing. Like, if it was early S class, they might have been okay, but they came way too late in the game, and honestly, the attack meta was definitely there, and these characters just did nothing to help that. So we're gonna mix up a little bit. Now here's one that I'm very iffy on where I should have put him, but my 8th pick for worst character is actually Beta. Now we're not talking about the mythic one. There is going to be no mythics on this list, because mythics are very unique, and I wouldn't really say there's many promo mythics that were shit. So we're going for 6-star Beta here. Now 6-star Beta was one of the very first of the 6 stars. that were released, and he did deal. So it was 58 EP. 58 EP is pretty fast. Deal 250% damage and stun for one turn to a line of enemies. That's it. So he did 250 damage and stun for one turn to a line of enemies at 58 EP. Now he was Retribution, which is pretty cool, but let's be honest, he got released just as 6 stars were brand new, so nothing was really going to kill him very fast. So Retribution never really had the chance to pop. And then his active skill of initial cooldown of 2, and then another cooldown of 2 turns. It was up to 3 teammates recover from taunt. That's it. So here's where Beta's on here. He's just very bare bones. Now, understandable, he was one of the very first 6 stars in the game, so it is understandable that they were releasing very mediocre tunes just to get the ball running. But yeah, he's just bare bones. What can I say? It's just very bare bones. If you did spend on him that early in the game, you're kind of fucking stupid. Because believe it or not, at the start of the 6-star era, Carl leads, Mirabelle's. There was lots of very good free-to-play options for tunes, and paying for Beta was just a very silly choice in my opinion, because yeah, she really just didn't bring much to the table. Now for number 7, we've got probably one of the most questionable S-classes I could have put on here, because I'm very confused if you did pull for her, because I genuinely think you must have been a collector for S-classes to pull this shit tune. Now, the shit tune in question for number 7 is Erika. Now, this is the green one with Vitality. And now, she does have a paragraph or an adrenaline rush, which might seem like, oh, she's got loads of things going for her. She really doesn't. So, up to 2 enemies get stunned and crosshairs for 2 turns. While battling on the defense team, up to 3 teammates recover from heal reduction and regain 100% HP. And 100% bonus HP. Now you're probably wondering, wow, that seems like a lot, and that actually does seem half bad. Doesn't seem that half bad. But here's the thing. Same thing with pretty much all the other tunes. Bad timing. Really bad timing. Like horrible timing. Because what I'm saying is, Andrea's, Magna's, all these tunes were readily available. Betas. She was getting, like, defense teams were getting slapped about, and she just was not doing it at 66 AP. She was not rushing fast. She was not stalling. She just was not there at the right time. And yeah, spending for her was a horrible idea. Now her active skill was one enemy gets minus 80% attack and taunt for 4 turns. This character gains 50% of their AP. Initial cooldown of 2, and then a cooldown of 5. Yeah. What can I say? She just was released at a horrible time, and I don't think I've ever seen her once rush against me when I attacked her, which should say something, because you gotta remember Doc was still used in the S-class era, and with Andrea's, Betas, Magnas, loads of heavy attack, damage dealing tunes, she just didn't survive. She was just shit. So yeah. Now number 6. If you're a OG viewer, you might understand my hatred for this character, and that would be Denise. Denise, the 6-star. She was a neutralize. She was a blue, and all teammates recover from heal reduction. Up to 4 teammates recover 25% of their HP for 4 turns, and get 60% defense, which decreases by 15% each turn for 4 turns. And her active skill was, honest to God, one of the shittest things ever. Revive 2 teammates at 50% of their max HP. Now you're probably wondering, Dan, what do you want about that? That sounds amazing. Here's the catch. Initial cooldown of 8. Initial cooldown of 8 turns. And then she also had a cooldown of 8 turns. I think you get where I'm coming from here. She is slow. So, first of all, neutralize, meh. She had an AP down when attacking weapon, meh. All teammates recover from heal reduction. Didn't matter back then. There was not really a heal reduction meta. So, meh. Up to 4 teammates recover 25% of their HP for 4 turns. You had better healers, and let's be honest, back then, sort of the same thing applied. It was Diego's around that time, so yeah, there was no real need for healers. Like battles were over fairly fast. And the fact she's a promo, you're fucking stupid for pulling. If you're a collector, hey ho. But yeah, that was just horrible. And the 8 turns, the 8 initial turns for 2 people to revive is ungodly. Like no one, and I mean no one, is gonna sit in a battle 8 turns, and she's gonna survive 8 turns. So yeah, I think you get where I'm coming from. Like she's not surviving 8 turns. If it does go in 8 turns, then you've just got a one shit attacker hitting you. And for healers, way better alternatives. So yeah, if you did pull for her, I did question your choices because yeah, just really interesting. Now we're at the halfway point. Now we're coming on to number 5. Now, if you're an OG RTS player like myself, you'll remember some of these gold tunes from back in the day and the most random shit they came with. And of course, number 5, we're talking about everyone's favorite Caroline. Caroline was everywhere, and I mean everywhere. War awards everywhere. Everyone had loads of her, and everyone was very pissy when they saw her in War awards. But believe it or not, she was a promo at one point, and here's what she did at 76 AP. She had 12 levels to put into her adrenaline rush, which back then was a pain in the ass. Because if you didn't know, back then in RTS, to level up a adrenaline rush, you had to have so for example, they had different roles. You had hunter, you had soldier, you had citizen, and what you had to do is you had to train survivors with civilian, hunter, soldier, and then there would be a percentage chance for them to upgrade the adrenaline rush by 1 or 2, 3 levels, and that's how to upgrade those levels. Just in case you didn't know, you didn't have all these fancy trainers like you did back then. And it was genuinely a pain in the ass to sometimes level these adrenaline rushes. But here's what Caroline did. Now, obviously, you'll remember it was just adrenaline rush back then. And yeah, that was it. I think she had dexterity. No, not dexterity. She had I think she had lifesteal or something like that. Something really fucking shit. I'll double check later. So her adrenaline rush, 76 AP. Up to 3 teammates regain 100% of their max HP. All teammates recover from attack. Penalties, defense penalties, and bleeding. So yeah. Now here's what makes it a little bit more interesting. So that doesn't sound horrible on paper, but here's what you got additionally for pulling for. So now in the RTS you get little bonuses for doing 20 pulls, 40 pulls, whatever. You get little bonuses, right? So here's what you got when you pulled for Caroline. Now I'll show the picture on screen. I had to do some digging through this, go through some old RTS YouTube channels. Shout out 909 Gaming, because he was the OG back then, so I managed to find this picture of his video. So yeah, that's what you got for pulling 25 pulls. Yeah, if they did that now, everyone would literally throw a hissy fit. Unfucking believable. I think the special skill she had was parting shot, if I'm not mistaken. So whenever she dies, she just critical hit someone. It's very shit. But yeah, here's why she's bad. So the adrenaline rush, it's not bad, but what you got for pulling with extras was shit. But at that point in time, 76 AP was very slow, like very slow. To the point where it wasn't really viable. Plus, there was loads of better healers that did damage as well. And alternatively, yeah, who the fuck's pulling for that when you have better attacking tunes? Like, don't get me wrong, there was lots of diversity back in the 5-star era, but she was just not it. If you pulled for her, you were a dumbass, because she's just a healer, and that was it. She was just a healer, and there was no bleeding back then, and there was no really attack with defense penalties. Yes, there was defense penalties with Victor and whatnot, but there was no really attack down and bleeding, so it was just a healer. And there was way better alternatives in the game, like way better free-to-play alternatives. So that's why Caroline is on this list. Now, we are going on to a fan favorite as well with Gregory. Gregory is bare bones of bare bones. We are talking the 5-star version, the red. I believe he was parting shot as well. Parting shot being the shittest special skill you can get in the game. Gregory's rush won't take long. It's 12 levels. It's 76 AP, very slow. Deal 225% damage to 4 enemies. That is it. That is it. Like I said, I don't think I have to go much into it. There was way better damage dealers at that point in time. Better free-to-play alternatives at that point in time. And I'll throw another picture on screen. Shout out to 909 Gaming for keeping all his videos up from old RTS. Like, look at the fucking bonus rewards for opening. People would be insulted nowadays for that. But regardless, 2225 damage for a red, it really wasn't anything back then. Everyone still thought he was shit back then, so looking back on it, yeah, he just was god awful. And like I said, it's sort of the same thing with Caroline. He was everywhere in War Awards, literally everywhere. Third place factions got fucking shafted, giving them out non-stop like candy. So, god awful character. Now, here is a very shit character that I questioned Scopely's logic at releasing this one. And it is a 6-star. So I'll give you 5 seconds to guess. It's a 6-star. It's a male. So what are we thinking? It's an alert. Medic. What are we thinking? Okay, you've got your guesses in. Okay, here we go. Harlan. Now, Harlan. I was around when he was out on promo, and I was just thinking, who the fuck is going to pull for this? And believe it or not, I did see people with this character, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Now, he was a promo. Just let me get it out there. At number 3, Harlan. Here's why. 58 AP. Fast. Pretty good for a 6-star. One teammate regains 100% of their max HP and gets 100% defense for 1 turn. That's shit. One person gets healed fully and they get 100% defense. Okay. All teammates recover from impair. That's the rush. One person gets healed with 100% defense and everyone recovers from impair. That's it. That is it. So yeah, I don't think I have to say much more. That was it. And then obviously his active skill is actually alright. Turn 3, cooldown of 2, minus 75% defense to 1 enemy for 2 turns. Not bad. And he was, I think it was dexterity or whatever you call it. Regardless, shit. Who is going to pay for a character at that point in time that will heal one person, give the same person 100% defense, and that's it? Everyone else recovers from impair. Impair wasn't very dominant back then, and there wasn't a need for someone to be healed on the team and given 100% defense. If you wanted a healer, like I said, way better alternatives. Giving this out as a promo tune was a horrible choice. I doubt they made much of this, if at all, because, you know, I don't think anyone is stupid enough to spend on that. Now, we come into top 2. Top 2 is what I like to call the shittest of the shittest, the worst of the worst. Now, take a guess. Just take a guess. They're both 5 stars. They're both yellow. I'll give you a few seconds to have a little guess before I say number 2. Keep in mind, this one has tenacity. My number 2 has tenacity. Now, what are you thinking? We're thinking there's a few 5 stars for tenacity. If you're a new player, you're probably not going to get it. But if you're an old school RTS player like myself, you might have a little guess who this one is. Okay, number 2. Krista. God almighty, she was horrible. So, first of all, 8 levels on her adrenaline rush. So you have to level her up 8 times to fully get the adrenaline rush AP down. So, she was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she was 100 and something AP. I'm a little bit iffy on the number, but it was over 100 AP. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. She was over 100 AP. Just keep that in mind. 100 AP. Over 100 AP. I think it was 118, 120. I can't remember, to be honest. I couldn't find an exact picture. I'll have to find a picture and put it on screen. But yeah, it was over 100 AP for her to go. So automatically, that is slow. I think it was at that point in time, they used to say like 45 AP was fast, 58 AP was normal, and then slow was something like 70. No, normal was 76. Then anything past that would go from slow to very slow, and she was considered very slow. So yeah, over 100 AP. Deal 125% damage and stun for one turn to one enemy and all enemies adjacent to it. Keep in mind, we had access to Victor. We had access to all these other adjacent hitters like not really Jesus, Victor, Lester, like we had loads of other alternatives, and 125% damage and stun for all adjacent for one turn at over 100 AP is god awful. Now keep in mind, she had tenacity as well. But if you were using her and you did get lucky pulling her, the only reason you would use her is because you just needed a 5-star to put on your team. Because 5-stars had a bit better stats than 4-stars, and you know there was a bit more defensive possibilities there. And same with offense, you know it was just better to have a better stat character on your attack team. So yeah, she was god fucking awful, over 100 AP. The adjacent hitter are fucking god awful. And then finally, everyone's favourite number one. There will be no other spot but for this character to be, and that would be Gator. And we're talking about his 5-star version. And keep in mind, every single character that I've mentioned have been on promo at one point in time. So 10 levels to his rush, up to 3 teammates get 65% defense, and camouflage for 3 turns. That's it. Camouflage back then did nothing. It was purely a walker thing. It would only defend you against walkers and have a promo that does 65% defense and camouflage for 3 turns, and it only went to 3 teammates is fucking useless, considering if you're struggling in walker stages, you could just use guts or those bloody t-shirts as a cheap alternative instead of spending on a shitty Gator with parting shots. So whenever he dies, he does a critical hit. Yeah, need I say more? Like, that is the shittest thing ever, especially back then when camouflage just did nothing. Oh, undisputed king of shitters. It goes to 5-star Gator. No one will change my mind. He was the shittest of the shittest back then, and he is still very shit now. Granted, his 6-star is a bit better because he has a drop lead, but the 5-star, absolute dog shit. Join my Discord for more videos, because I did ask for input on this video, and I will ask for more input on videos in the future. So if you want to join my Discord, link in the description. Leave a like, comment. Who would you put on the list of shitters? Would you change one around? Would you add someone? Would you remove someone? Leave it in the comments below. Remember, this is my list. It's purely my opinion. Now, granted, I have been playing the game a long time, and there is hundreds of tunes, and to find the top 10 worst is pretty hard. But there was definitely a few here deserving of that list. So until the next video, boys, peace out. I'll probably have another upload on Sunday, so look forward to that. And yeah, peace out.